A lot of good stories about the late great Bray. But one of my favorite ones to tell in a mixed room is between Yuma and Phoenix. A very, very long story short. This was about 20 years ago. I had like a 95 Explorer at the time, and we filled that fucking thing up with every piece of musical equipment and recording hardware we had at the time, which was a Explorer full, you know. I got a trash bag of clothes and everything else is gear. And he was in the service at the time, and he was stationed in Yuma, Arizona. And for people who don't know, here's California, who's Mexico, here's Arizona. Yuma's kind of in the crack of it. Anyway, we were gonna drive from Charlotte to Yuma, me and him. We left on July 5th, and it's a 36-hour drive. Now, for the first, I don't know, 18, 20 hours, we were doing really well. And the way we did it is I'd drive a full tank, we'd get gas, he'd drive a full tank, and we kept that going. Now, we did that rotation, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, however far we got, to where we had left on the 5th in the morning. So we had got basically, about 18, 20 hours in. And I told him this, so he knows I eventually told what happened, but I couldn't go anymore. It's 4 in the morning, whatever it is, I'm fucking cooked. So I still had like more than a fourth of a tank. And I just said, I just pulled over. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it anymore. So I'm find a truck stop and God only knows, Texarkana or wherever the fuck. Because I-40 runs all the way across the country. And you hit cities every couple hours, but there are some points that there's nothing there. So I pull over and I wake him up and I go, man, like, we're at a rest stop, we're good, but I can't keep going. So if you want to just sleep for a couple hours here, I'm fine with that. I'm good to stop. And I'll never forget this shit, man. I just woke him up, he looked over at me, he was like, fuck that. And I'm like, okay. So we switched seats, get gas or whatever. I think I got gas before I woke him up so he wouldn't see how much was left in there. And anyway, I was like, well, fuck, man, here we go. There's no getting out now. So I fall asleep a couple hours. And I wake up, the sun is just coming up. And I swear, man, he's like this close to the steering wheel. You could tell he's just hanging on by a thread to stay awake. He's like this. And I wake up feeling a lot better. And I go, hey man, like, I'm good to drive. And he's like a little kid. He's like, for real? And we fucking pulled over. And then, he got to sleep. And by then I think we were in New Mexico by then. So we stopped and had lunch. And we were like, man, we're fucking almost there. Got a new morale boost. Well, he had a Cadillac, an old Cadillac at the time, and he left it in Phoenix with a buddy. So we take 40 to Phoenix. We just got to get his car and go from Phoenix to Yuma, which is another couple hours, whatever it was. It's 3 hours, I think. I can't remember exactly. So we go to his buddy's. Phoenix is a beautiful city. We go to his buddy's apartment, hang out for 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it is, and then go. And now this is before GPS, this is before iPhone, this is before all that shit. You had like the fucking maps. So he goes, there's a route that can take like a half hour to 45 minutes off, or we can just take the normal route. Now by this, it's hour like 32, 33, this is day, 2, I guess, whatever. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck, if you know the way, like, let's go. And he's like, okay. So I'm following him. Now, we're in that stretch between Phoenix and Yuma where it's like a movie. Like you're in the fucking desert. Like you see tumbleweeds and shit blowing around. You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I'm starting to run out of gas. It's not like that Explorer was getting great gas mileage. So I like flag him down. We stop. He's like, I kind of don't know where we are. And I'm like, well, man, I fucking need gas. Like, we're in big trouble. And he's like, oh, well, it's okay. And I'm like starting to kind of freak out. Because again, no GPS. There's nowhere to stop and ask people. It's like something off of, you know, some Hollywood horror movie. Like, don't go down that road. Like, you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I don't know how he did it. I guess he just kept going. Or maybe he finally saw a road that he remembered. I don't know. But I was basically on E. And sure as shit, we pull up this like Resident Evil dead gas station. And we get our bearings, and we get gas, and we obviously make it to Yuma. But that shit took years off my life coming back, because I had to do it coming back by myself, because he got deployed. But yeah, man, it's just the distance between Phoenix and Yuma. And I'll tell that story till I die, man. And that was B. You know, you want to stop? Fuck that. Fuck no. That was B, man. Love you, man. See you soon.